Hey guys, welcome to The Sports Entertainer. We have a ton of major wrestling news to share with you guys today, but before we get started, make sure you subscribe to the channel with notifications turned on so you never miss out on an episode. We start off today's wrestling news with a pretty big update regarding Braun Strowman and his injury status in WWE. As many of you guys are likely aware, Strowman has been out of action from WWE since May of this year because of a neck injury, one that eventually required the Monster Among Men to require surgery, and there really hasn't been a whole lot of updates regarding Strowman's status since. Thankfully, that's changed, because Braun Strowman recently spoke with News 18 to update wrestling fans on the recovery progress after his neck fusion surgery, and clearly Braun has every intention of recovering from this setback and getting back in the ring at some point. Here's what Braun Strowman had to say on the matter, quote, "I did my 5-month checkup and got medically cleared to start lifting weights. I lost 35 pounds just sitting around for 8 weeks because I wasn't eating like I normally do since I wasn't lifting. So now we're trying to put the weight back on. The goal for 2024 is to continue this. I go back after the first year to have another checkup and then get back in the ring, getting back into shape, and then getting back to passing these hands out." Now, while a lot of fans would probably want Strowman to return at the 2024 Royal Rumble next month, given the update Braun's provided on his rehab, it's doubtful he will be ready to return to the ring at that point, and really any month in 2024 would be an optimistic timeline for Braun's return to the ring, with the summer or fall of 2024 seeming the most likely at this point for when Braun could be back. Though Braun did mention that his style in the ring may change a bit when he returns because of the injuries, quote, "I'll be a little more cautious thinking because now that I have some hardware and stuff like that, but at the end of the day, I don't know, I'm crazy. I've worked around the injuries, as I said earlier, my left leg is 15% paralyzed, and it has been my entire career. I don't make excuses, I get it done." With all of this said, when Braun does return to WWE, Strowman says he will not only be doing this for himself, but for Bray Wyatt as well, who Braun made it clear in this interview that he wouldn't be where he is in WWE if it wasn't for the late Bray Wyatt, quote, "So especially with my return to WWE, like I have, I'm not only coming back for me, I'm coming back for him." Now, Jon Moxley has been a fixture in All Elite Wrestling ever since his debut in the company back in 2019, one of the major wrestlers that helped put AEW on the map for sure, and Moxley's certainly able to express himself authentically in All Elite Wrestling way more than he was during his time spent in WWE, and one of the ways Moxley likes to express himself is with the blading he does during matches in AEW, something that's a lot more common there compared to WWE. And clearly, Jon Moxley feels this is a way of self-expression that he has no plans of stopping anytime soon, even though some wrestling fans have expressed their feelings that perhaps Moxley bleeds a bit too often in matches. Here's what Moxley had to say on the matter in a recent interview with Bleacher Report's Chris Miller, quote, "As far as like my own stuff, I just do whatever the bleep I want at the moment. If I stop what I'm doing and do a bleeping spinaroonie in the middle of the match and bleeping take a wrench and gouge my bleeping head open, it's cause I felt like bleeping doing it. You can't tell me what I did was wrong, I didn't agree not to. It's just a form of self-expression, it's what I felt like doing, it's what wrestling is to me. Whatever I'm gonna do, it's whenever I'm gonna do at the moment. I don't know what the bleep it is, it could be anything." Now, Jon Moxley is definitely one of a kind and unique, that's for sure, and there's no doubt that AEW suits his style better than WWE at this point, so it's doubtful Moxley will be going back to WWE anytime soon. Now, last week, the main NXT backstage interviewer Mackenzie Mitchell was released from WWE during the latest batch of corporate layoffs, and while a lot of wrestling fans were a bit surprised by this release and that it seemed out of left field, clearly some within WWE felt the same way, and one who was shocked by Mackenzie Mitchell's WWE firing was none other than Shawn Michaels, who currently works for the company as the Senior Vice President of Talent Development Creative, and really oversees much of the things that go on in NXT. On a recent media call ahead of this weekend's Deadline Premium Live event, Shawn Michaels basically gave his thoughts on Mackenzie Mitchell's release, and this is what Michaels had to say on the matter, quote, "Mackenzie's always going to be part of the NXT family, and I mean that sincerely. But look, no, it was something that obviously took me by surprise as well. My understanding is there's just some areas where we have overlapping jobs, and there were going to be changes. There are a lot of things that go on within this company that are way above me. This obviously was one of them. But look, like we always say here, the door is always open here in the WWE. In my opinion, Mackenzie will always be part of the NXT family, and it doesn't mean that we can't revisit that relationship somewhere down the road, good Lord willing. Obviously, it's a loss to us in NXT, but the machine as always has to continue to roll on, and we will obviously do that. And obviously we will miss her greatly, because everybody absolutely loves and adores Mackenzie. Now it seems like Shawn Michaels was just as surprised as many fans were when it was announced that Mackenzie Mitchell was let go by WWE, and Michaels clearly had nothing to do with the release, and by the sounds of it doesn't really like that decision whatsoever and probably wasn't happy that call was made without consulting him, the guy that oversees the NXT brand. Now an AEW star's contract will soon be expiring, and that said star is none other than Andrade. According to Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer, Andrade's deal with All Elite Wrestling will soon be expiring, though Meltzer would make it clear that AEW could add a bit more time to Andrade's contract because of the periods of time that Andrade has been out injured. But even with that being said, Andrade's deal will soon be expiring is the general sentiment right now, and it was also revealed that Andrade has yet to decide his long-term future in wrestling, which leaves a lot of possible ways things can unfold for him. Could he choose to re-sign with All Elite Wrestling? Definitely possible, but some fans feel like Andrade's AEW run has been a bit of a flop thus far, and that it seems more than plausible that Andrade could consider making a return to WWE, especially now with Triple H at the helm of things on the main roster, a guy who always saw potential in Andrade. But regardless, in the meantime, it does seem like Andrade plans to return to his old CMLL promotion soon. Now we have some pretty massive news to conclude today's wrestling news, because for those of you who haven't heard yet, it was just announced this morning that TNA Wrestling has partnered with the WWE's parent company Endeavor for the relaunch of the TNA Plus subscription service, with it being stated that this is a multi-year deal that TNA Wrestling and Endeavor have come to terms on, with the official launch set for January 5th, 2024. TNA President Scott D'Amore had this to say in a press release, quote, "This is truly an incredible opportunity for us as we forge into an exciting new chapter of the TNA legacy. We are proud to partner with Endeavor Streaming on this initiative, and we look forward to continuing to provide our fans with the absolute best in new, classic, and exclusive professional wrestling content available to them anywhere, anytime, on their favorite devices when TNA Plus launches on January 5th. Endeavor's streaming chief commercial officer Pete Bellamy added this statement regarding the deal with TNA, quote, "Wrestling fans are some of the most passionate in the world of sports and entertainment, and TNA Plus is the perfect always-on personalized OTT service to help TNA build a deeper relationship with its global audience. We're looking forward to working with TNA to deliver the best streaming experience for wrestling fans. As many of you are probably aware, Impact Wrestling will be getting rebranded as TNA Wrestling in January, and this latest news of a streaming deal with Endeavor, the parent company of WWE, is absolutely huge news. And not surprisingly, wrestling fans are already contemplating what this means between TNA and WWE. Is there a chance we could see some crossover stuff now that Endeavor has a working relationship with TNA? Who knows, man? But this is pretty massive news for TNA Wrestling, no doubt about it, and it would be awesome to see TNA and WWE working together in some capacity in the future. It's definitely an exciting time for wrestling fans, that's for sure. Well guys, that's it for today's major wrestling news. Make sure you leave a like and comment, and also make sure you subscribe to the channel with notifications turned on so you'll never miss out on an episode. Finally, if you haven't already, give us a follow on Twitter at TSE Wrestling, and we will see you guys in the next video.